This is the story of how I was naive and allowed my heart to be broken after meeting a girl from Pattaya. I will start my story by being pretty direct and upfront with the listeners. Before my first time experience in Thailand, I was living in the UK and I was struggling with this disease called addiction. It was a horrible disease and I allowed it to take over my life. Literally, nothing mattered in my life other than when I was getting my next fix. I have been single pretty much all of my life, but to be honest, I only have myself to blame for that. I had way too many personal issues and I just didn't care about having someone in my life at that time. And to be honest, I never really cared about sharing my life with someone. I was fine with the thought of going through life single. I got addicted in my teens and pretty much wasted the best years of my life, and that is nobody else's fault other than myself. Fighting with addiction is hard. I don't care what anyone says. When people say, just stop doing it, I wish it was that easy, but it's really not. I was not one of these stereotypical addicts that you think of when you hear the word addict. I had my own nice apartment, a pretty decent job, and I actually functioned pretty well with all the stuff in my system. But the problem with having a job and money, I could always afford a fix. One day, I just decided it's time to change. I needed a life-changing experience, and that's where my first trip to Thailand comes into the story. During one of my many times of looking online at stories about how people became clean, taking a holiday kept coming up in a lot of the stories. So I chatted with a friend of mine and he was keen about a short holiday as well, and we came up with the idea of going to Thailand. The plan was originally to stay in Bangkok, but after we saw a few videos about Pattaya City, it was hard not to include that place in our plans. So, off we went to Thailand. And my God, it did not disappoint. I was actually experiencing life for the first time. I loved every bit of this country, from the food to the amazing ladies. For the first time, I was experiencing addiction again, but in a different, more beautiful way. I was 27 at the time. Our first stop was Bangkok. My first love in Thailand wasn't with a girl, it was with the country alone. We did do a little research about the nightlife over in Thailand before we got there. We was told about bar girls, the tricks and the scams and whatnot, so we thought we had it all figured out. Although there was plenty of warning signs about the girls there, that didn't stop us from experimenting. Bangkok was a place that I had my first time ever with a freelancer. It was great. It almost felt like I had known her for a long time and it wasn't work for her. She was so down to earth and relaxed. I did not want to get attached, but going to these types of girls really helped boost my confidence, something I had been lacking for a while. After having a lot of fun and having the best time of my life in Bangkok, it was time for me and my friend to hit the road and make our way to Sin City, Pattaya. Now searching this city online, it looked like a single man's dream, just full of beautiful girls and bars, somewhere I had been very eager to visit. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint again. I was blown away with this place, the atmosphere, the way of life, the multiple bars. Literally every street you went down, there was either lots of bars, massage parlours and girls. I was thinking to myself, if I was rich, I would probably have a place here, even if just for a couple of months a year. After a couple of nights in Pattaya getting a feel for the place and trying out different bars on the streets, we decided to head to the famous walking street that is a big tourist spot. It blew me away. Literally, so many beautiful women standing outside the bars, trying to get the customers in. You can't help but stare at these girls. Anyway, we made our way into a bar on Walking Street. It was fairly early in the evening and we wasn't drunk. I think we only had 2 or 3 beers by then. While in the bar, the mama-san came over and asked if we would like some female company to join us. As it was still fairly early, we declined but said we will want some soon. She smiled and walked off to a group of girls working there. Within 5 minutes, 2 of the girls that the mama-san had been talking to came over and sat with us. I guess the mama-san did not want to wait until we was ready for the company. Looking back now, I'm glad she didn't wait. I turned and looked at the girl who was sat next to me, and it's hard to explain, but you know that feeling you get when you look at someone for the first time and just feel like you're head over heels in love with her, even though you have no idea who she is? Well, it was one of them moments. There was just something about her that caught me off guard. Now, she wasn't the most beautiful girl I had ever seen in my life. I don't know, I just felt like it was love at first sight. We introduced ourselves, and she was just the sweetest girl I've ever spoken to. She was so shy and innocent. She didn't seem like a bar girl with the way she acted, but maybe this was just part of the plan. I don't know. She wasn't all over me, telling me how handsome I am and how much she wants to go with me tonight. She was just a down-to-earth girl, and I started feeling bad for her that she has to do this type of job to make money. We got chatting some more and the drinks started flowing. I pretty much drank with her all night, buying her lady drinks, and I don't think we barely touched each other, which was fine for me. I was just so starstruck by her that I didn't even want to take advantage, even though that's her job. I couldn't even bring myself to ask if she wanted to come back with me. I just made an excuse like, I don't want to do anything tonight, just relax because I'm tired. It was time to leave, and I gave her 1,000 tip to go along with the lady drink commission she had earned from me that night. Her smile showed me how much she appreciated that. The next day, I could not stop thinking about this girl I had met. All the warnings and advice I was told before coming to Thailand had gone straight out of the window. I even told my friend that I liked this girl. She felt different from the rest, to which he found amusing, laughed, and said grow up. I laughed as well, but deep down I knew I had feelings for this random bar girl. Anyway, that night my friend was still hungover and did not want to go out. Me on the other hand, I wanted to see the girl again, so I got ready and hit the walking street again, making my way inside her bar. I walked in, and as soon as her eyes met mine, she gave me a huge smile which made me feel like the luckiest man alive. She came walking over and gave me a massive hug, asking me if I'd like a drink. We resumed where we left off the night before. It was great again, just sat drinking and chatting with her. There was other customers in the bar, but she never left my side. She stayed with me all night and we got very drunk. She was explaining to me how she hates her job and does not like that her life has turned out this way, but she needed money to support her family. I don't know if it's because I'm soft or stupid, but this pulled on my heartstrings. I felt really sorry for her that she has to do this type of work just to get by in life. Being an ex-addict myself, I knew what it was like to be willing to do pretty much anything to get money, so I kind of knew where she was coming from. You might laugh, but I felt like this girl was the girl of my dreams. It's still hard to explain why, but in my eyes, she was perfect. That night, I did ask her if she wanted to come back with me, to which she happily accepted. Although nothing happened, I still gave her some money for her time to help her. Yes, I was being soft and probably naive, but I just wanted to help. For the rest of the stay, my friend was getting annoyed with me because all I wanted to do was go to the same bar on Walking Street to see my new girl. I did see her pretty much every other night, and every time we was together, we would spend the whole night together. I kind of put her type of work to the back of my mind and treated it as a real holiday romance, and I'm not embarrassed to say that I fell in love in Pattaya. All the times we spent together, I paid for all of her drinks, bar fines and food, but she never asked me for money often, and when she did, it wasn't too much. I'm not rich by any means. In fact, by the time I get paid, I've already spent my previous wage. And she knew that that was my situation. That did not seem to push her away from me, and she was totally fine with it. It was time for me to go back home, so we spent one last night together, this time with no alcohol. We went out for a nice meal and then headed back to my hotel. It was such a great and perfect night. She laid on my chest, telling me she did not want me to leave and she's had the best time with me. She did not want me to go back to work and wished I could stay there with her. I explained that I could come back to her as soon as I could, but while I'm back home, because of my money situation, I wouldn't be able to send her much money, if any, to help her out. And she said she understood and wasn't with me for that reason. When I got home, I missed her incredibly. She was constantly on my mind. It was worse at night when I would think about what she does for work and what she is doing right now in the bar or with a customer. But I still saw her as a sweet and loving girl that I fell in love with on the first day that I met her. I admit, that is something hard to try and not think about. Like, when it takes them a long time to reply or don't answer the phone, you constantly think the worst. Anyway, we never lost contact when I was home. We would make it a habit to video chat at least once a day when we could, and would always text each other every chance we got. While at home, I did some research online about foreigners being in a relationship with a girl from Thailand, and it seems what I was going through is normal. A Farang goes on holiday to Pattaya, meets a bar girl that makes him feel special, falls in love with her, goes home and supports her. The stories I read about this normally turn out bad. But still, I had hoped that my case was different. She was always there for me for the next few months, even when I was struggling with my emotions and finances. I could always call her, and if she didn't answer, she would call back as soon as she could. She did tell me that she loved me, and I really believed her. I thought that this could work if I figure out a way where I could live in Pattaya and be with her. I spent all of my days at work just daydreaming about the day I saw her again and was able to hold her again. I was addicted yet again, this time to a girl. The next few months, we was in a long-distance relationship, and although it was hard for me, I was determined to make it work with her. She was very special to me. I never wanted this feeling to end, but like they say, all good things must come to an end, and that's exactly what happened, and I unfortunately found out the hard way. She had told me before that she had quit her job at the bar and was working a normal job. However, I found out that this was not true and that she had several boyfriends on the go. When I confronted her with all this, she turned around and tried to blame it all on me, claiming that I do not love her and I do not want to be with her, which was just her trying to manipulate me because I did really want to be with her. The feeling was nice while it lasted. I haven't felt that affection from someone before, but now it's over. Yes, I was heartbroken when I realised I was being used. It's hard to figure out what she was up to because she never asked me for money, so why string me along in a relationship? I guess I'll never know, but luckily, I did not have any money for her to clean out even if she wanted to. I still love Thailand and Pattaya. This has not put me off. I was just a naive guy, and I guess sometimes you have to experience these things to be taught a lesson. Next time around, I'm going to leave my feelings at home or on the plane and pick them up on my way back. Since this experience, I have seen that I was quite lucky actually, as I've read some really bad stories of men being cleaned completely out after falling in love with the wrong Thai girl. Ah well, at least it was fun while it lasted. I will return to Thailand soon, and will do the whole bar scene again, just differently. Because, as they say, good guys go to heaven, and bad guys go to Pattaya.